All right, now we're really back from the bye week. It felt like the trade deadline was a trade deadline, but now it's like, okay, now it's Packers week.
Yeah, the longest bye week in history is finally coming to a close. The Eagles getting back to work, so we're getting back to work.
It sounds good. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast brought to you by Nissan. Reuben, Frank, and Dave Zangaro with you here. A lot to talk about today, Rube. We want to get into that Packers game. The Eagles 2.5-point underdogs going to Green Bay on Monday night. A bunch of questions from our listeners later, trying to get through the mailbag a little bit. But I have an idea for the first part of this podcast.
Before we start,
okay,
you need to know I ordered another box of pens.
If you start clicking that pen,
torture you.
I'm going to lose it.
All right, put it over there. But there's another box on the way, so it's not going away anytime soon.
Okay. I'm going to slowly start stealing all of them, and you won't have a chance to click them.
Just order another box.
There's nothing I can do. So first I want to start off with this pod. I did something what I think is kind of fun. I went through the Eagles roster and came up with what I think is the biggest question at each position on the team. And I figured it'd be fun to just go through them. It's a way to kind of talk about where the team is, where they might be going at this halfway point as we look ahead to the second half of the season. So we'll just start on offense. And the quarterback one to me is kind of fun because if this happens, it means things have gone really well. The question is, can Jalen Hurts enter the MVP race?
Yeah, I think he's already in it. And I don't think there's a single clear-cut guy. Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones, his teammate. I mean, there's some, Myles Garrett. There's some guys certainly having great seasons. But yeah, I think he's in that mix. Mahomes is always going to be a candidate. Josh Allen's always going to be a candidate. After the way the first few games went, I didn't think we'd be having this conversation about the MVP race, but he's played so well. The whole offense has kind of gotten going. I think Kevin Patullo's grown more comfortable. Jalen's grown more comfortable with him. The running game is starting to show signs. They've made some adjustments in the offense, and I think if it keeps clicking the way it has, Jalen, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception, 70%. He's only the second quarterback ever to have those numbers through 8 weeks, along with Drew Brees in 2018. So, yeah, I think he keeps playing the way he has. He's firmly in that mix.
Yeah, it didn't feel like he was playing at an MVP level for the first half of the season. There were some bad games in there, especially the 2 games they lost. And I don't think that was by coincidence, right? Yeah. Like his 2 worst games, they didn't win. But you take a step back and you look at his numbers. I know he's not throwing for a ton of yards, but over 70% completion percentage, 15 touchdowns to an interception. And in a year where you're right, there's like no one really running away with it. If he can do that for the second half of the season as well, yeah, he's going to be firmly in the mix.
Yeah, he doubles his numbers. 30 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but he has thrown for more yards than he did last year. So I think the thing with Jalen, they always look at the total. He only had 18 touchdowns. He's going to have more than 18 touchdowns this year. So if he gets into the mid-20s, mid to high 20s, and keeps the interception numbers down and keeps the completion percentage high and they keep winning, how is he not a candidate?
I'm totally with you. If you had to pick someone, who do you think it's going to be?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
I would have said Daniel Jones a week ago. I think Jonathan Taylor's probably having the best season, but they never pick running backs. I should say we never pick because I'm a voter now. Probably Mahomes, just because you're always safe going with him.
Josh Allen, too. I think, won it last year, which was a little bit of a surprise based on it was so strange last year. The all-pro quarterback was not the MVP, which is kind of crazy. It doesn't really happen very much.
And it's the same voters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Josh Allen was really good last year, but Saquon had a better year. Saquon should have been the MVP.
It just doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I voted for him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
For MVP? Okay. Drake May has been really fun in the mix. Yeah. Sometimes you like to get new blood in there, but I think the point is if Jalen plays at this level and he does enter the MVP conversation, that's a really good sign for the Eagles because it means that they're one of the best teams in the NFL and certainly one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah, when he plays well, they win. And sometimes when he doesn't play well, they win. But more often than not, they don't. So he's been so consistent. Really, just look back since the middle of 21. he's just played really, really at a high level, and he just keeps getting better.
Yeah, and it's very clear the instruction from the coaching staff is, hey, don't turn the football over. If we don't do that, we're going to win. And it's such like a simplistic view of football, but it's worked for them. And we've seen in the recent weeks, I know you wrote about his deep passes, like they've been able to limit those turnovers while still taking shots, which is really tough.
Yeah, and he's better, like statistically in every area, and that's even including like the slow start. Like he's more accurate than he's ever been, higher touchdown percentage, lower interception rate, more yards per attempt, more yards completion. There's nothing deep ball he's throwing that, I think, really accurately and putting the ball in position where only his guy can catch it. He's gotten better in every phase, and he was pretty good to start with.
Running back, pretty simple here. Can Saquon turn around his season? We started to see it in week 8. Do you think it's more week 8, or do you think it's more weeks 1 through 7?
I think it's going to be more week 8. And I think as Cam gets back and Landon gets healthier and we start to see the offensive line get back to where we kind of expected, Saquon's the same guy. He's the same running back. You could see that in that second Giants game. It's the Giants, yeah, but like he was never the issue. I never believed he was the issue. I never believed all the touches from last year were holding him back somehow. I think physically he's fine. I think he just didn't have anywhere to run. And when he did, he looked like the Saquon of old. So I think we'll see. And they played some really good defenses the first half of the season too. I think in the second half, I don't know if he's going to have 1,000 yards in the last 9 games, but I think we'll see a closer Saquon to what we saw against the Giants than the first 7 games.
I tend to agree with you, and I also agree with you that it wasn't him. You know, he raised his hand a bunch, and I like that. Yeah. I like that he's looking inward and trying to figure out what he can do better. I think that's good leadership from him, but the rest of us saw it, right? It was on tape. There just wasn't anywhere for him to run a lot of times. And, you know, I do agree with him that sometimes he was trying to bounce stuff, but that was like, you do that when the holes aren't there. You're trying to create something out of nothing, and then you end up taking more negative plays. But it was tough to really like pin that on him.
Yeah, I think you said a recent podcast, like he had some like incredible 1-yard runs that for anybody else would have been like a 5-yard loss. And it's like, wow, that's incredible. Look at that move. Look at that cut. He just broke a tackle. Barkley for 1 yard. But I think he's getting the most out of what's there, and I think that'll continue.
Yeah, it is crazy. With that one big game, his yards per carry went from 3.3 to 4.1.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
It is. And I think by the time all is said and done, he'll be in the mid-4s. Mm-hmm. He won't be 5'9" like he was last year, but he's going to end up, when we look at his final numbers, they're going to be pretty good.
9 games left in the season. We don't know if they'll need that last one for seeding. 9 games left. How many times does he go over 100?
Well, Tank Bigsby might be RB1 based on what we saw last week, but 9 games left. I'm going to say he's not going to play. Well, I mean, they're going to have the division wrapped up in the next couple of weeks.
But they might be playing for seeding in the conference.
For the 1 seed. And I'll tell you what, based on this kind of glut of 6 and 2 teams, it's a good chance that last game will mean something. 9 games, I'm going to say he'll have 500-yard games, maybe 6. Maybe I'll go 6.
6 of 9.
6 out of 9.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, 100's not that many yards.
Yeah, but he didn't do it once in the first 7 weeks.
But he did it once, 150 on Sunday. I think that's really – I think a lot of it has to do with Cam, like when he's back healthy and the O-line. Although Brett Toth had a good block on that 65-yard run, so good for him. Yeah, I think 5 or 6, but I'll go 6.
Okay. I'd probably go 5, but we're in the same ballpark there. Which is, look, that says something that he did it once in the first 8, and we're like, 5 or 6 in the last 9.
Yeah, I believe it.
At wide receiver, and I think this is the big question, can they keep A.J. Brown happy?
Probably not. But I still think he'll play well once he's back healthy.
Can they? Maybe it should be, can they keep him happy enough to make this work? Because they did that last year.
I think so. And because I don't think, like, it's not like he's ripping his coaches. It's not like he's, a bad influence in the locker room. He tweets too much. And it's like, it's not great, and it's a distraction, and I'm sure the coaches don't like it.
I will add to that, though. Sometimes there are, like, body language issues on the sideline, and that stuff, to me, is more dangerous than a tweet.
I guess. I think all of it is, I don't want to say innocuous, but I think it's all manageable. I think everything, he's not a bad guy. I don't believe he's a bad guy. I mean, his teammates like him and respect him. His coaches seem to respect him. So I just don't, this isn't T.O. Like, this isn't Freddie Mitchell ripping his quarterback from 10 lockers away. This is a guy who wants the football. When he gets it, he's an incredible receiver. So
I picture every time Freddie Mitchell's name gets mentioned, he's like, he just senses it.
Probably does. He probably does. And I like Freddie, but he wasn't the best teammate ever. But yeah, I think it's manageable, and I think Nick's pretty good at that kind of thing.
It's like Nick's time to shine, baby. There's some locker room issues. Yeah. That's why you're here.
He's really good at that, at kind of navigating through that. And
it's not the first time. Like, he had his own thing to deal with Jalen Hurts. And remember how much, like, last year, the big talk was how much they spoke during the bye week to come to some common ground.
Yeah.
Remember how, like, that was a big story last year.
Yeah.
That, Jalen, like, we'd tee up Jalen, hey, say something nice about the head coach, and he just wouldn't do it. He smoothed that one over, so it's time for him to smooth this over, too.
Yeah, and I would guess that they had some conversations over the last week and a half, and I'm assuming AJ will be healthy enough to play with that. We don't know, but I assume he'll be playing. And I mean, it's not just keeping. I mean, he's for this team to keep winning. It can't be just Devontae. I mean, AJ's got to get the ball more than he did the first half. Now, the last two games, I think he had 201 yards, so that was encouraging. Hopefully, if he keeps getting those kind of numbers, he'll calm down a little bit. But again, I don't think he's done anything. And Howie, we talked about this the other day on Tuesday. I mean, Howie was very strong about his, just backing AJ and how much he means to the team. Really emphasized the C on his, that he wears. So, I think they'll get through this. Beyond this year, who knows? But I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. I wrote that, could Devontae Smith be the number one? Yeah, absolutely. But the beauty of this team is that he's the two. And that's not a knock on him, but like the beauty is that you have two receivers like this. So you just need to figure out a way to make it work. It's not always easy to keep receivers happy. We know that. But if they're able to, I mean, we saw what this team did last year, like kind of similar, right? AJ wasn't happy. That was December. He was talking about the passing offense, and they figured out a way to make it all work.
Yeah. Look, you have, I think Patullo is kind of growing into the job, and I think that's going to help. And Devontae's numbers are wide receiver one, but I think AJ's always going to be wide receiver one, just the way teams cover him.
Yeah, he's going to garner that respect.
Yeah. I don't know what Charlie Gardner has to do with this, but yeah.
He's going to Charlie Gardner that respect.
I mean, how many teams there's a handful of teams that can say we don't know who number one is. A lot of times it's because you don't have a number one, but they have two number ones really. And what are your Devontae's having? That's, that's something that we've always known this was possible. And we'll see where he finishes, but man, he's just been incredible.
He's on pace for what, 1,300?
Yeah, I think just under maybe. Yeah, I'd love to see that. And that NFC Pro Bowl picture is really crowded.
Tough, yeah,
but maybe he can work his way in there.
Maybe, yeah. It's tough. It's a loaded group of receivers in the NFC.
Yeah, you might need 1,500 to be in that mix.
At tight end, will Dallas Goedert continue to be the red zone threat he has been in the first half?
Yeah, and I think that's related to the question: can Dallas Goedert stay healthy? And it's another thing to like about Kevin Patullo, and this is kind of a recent thing. The last, I guess, 5 or 6 games. Dallas has never been that red zone guy.
Never.
His whole career.
We've always talked about it.
Yeah. I wrote a big story like, why don't you ever score touchdowns? He's like, I don't know. They just have other guys they throw to. But it makes sense. And he's got all the tools that you need to be that red zone threat. He's got the size. I think he's got a real good feel for space, and he's tough, and he's got good hands. You have to be really tough to be a red zone guy because you're going to be in a crowd. You're going to get hit. What's he got? 7 touchdowns the last 6 games?
Yeah.
His last 6 games. I think that's going to continue. And he's going after some Pete Retzlaff records here.
Yeah, 10 is the Eagles' tight end touchdown record.
Yeah.
From 1965.
Yeah, that was his big year.
Good quote.
It actually was his big year, but yeah, and I think he's never made a Pro Bowl, and he's not going to have the volume of catches and yards, but 10 touchdowns is a pretty good number.
Yeah.
Not a lot of, I mean, that's like Kelsey Kittle type season.
Yeah, not many guys do it.
Yeah.
It's and he's already, and the cool thing, it kind of goes hand in hand with Goddard. It's not just like he's been a beast in the red zone. The play design has been super creative down there, and if that continues, like, yeah, certainly. I love seeing those little like shovel passes, unique ways to get him the ball, because then he's a big body and he's good after the catch.
Yeah, I think we'll see more of those.
The offensive line, we talked about this a little bit because it kind of coincides with the Saquon Barkley question, but basically, can those guys stay healthy? Because when healthy, yes, it's a very good line. They have not been elite this year, but I think we have reason to suspect that it's all injury related.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if Landon can stay healthy. I don't know if Cam can stay healthy. I mean, they've both been through a lot physically going back to playoffs last year or before. So I don't love their depth behind those guys. Brett Toth, it was an honest effort. It was a good effort against the Giants. But and look, they have a good front, very good front.
At least they have Fred Johnson if they need a tackle.
Yeah, but as far as their interior depth, I don't love it. Fred's a valuable guy. It was interesting how he brought up Fred on his own. I liked that the other day when we talked to Howie. They really pretty much have to stay healthy for this to be an elite O-line. And I don't know if anybody knows the answer to that. Landon's scary because it's always something with him.
Yeah, and it's funny because injuries were a big thing when they drafted him 37th overall. Yeah. And at the time, I was very skeptical of the pick, and credit to the medical staff and the Eagles scouting staff. They drafted him despite all that, and he's held up. And it's not like he came in the league and all of a sudden hasn't been hurt. He's just been able to play through the injuries in the NFL so far. So I do wonder, like, you know, I have a good feeling unless it's something crazy, he's going to be out there, but how effective is he going to be?
Yeah, and that's what we saw earlier in the year. He was out there, but it wasn't the Landon we're used to.
And you give him credit. Like, he's one of the tougher players I think I've ever been around.
Ever. Yeah. He'll play through anything, almost. If he's hurting the team, he'll walk off the field, but it's got to be pretty bad for that.
That's why it was so shocking in the NFC Championship game to see him sit down, and you're like, whoa, it must be really bad.
Yeah. I think the pick was already worth it, even if he.
Oh, sure,
even if he doesn't play again. You know, helped him win a Super Bowl. What a great player when he's healthy. He's just really one of the better. I mean, we've seen some pretty good guard play here. Brandon Brooks, Sean Andrews when he was healthy, when he was right. He was a first-team All-Pro.
Evan Mathis. I
believe the oldest Eagle ever to be a first-time Pro Bowler. Evan Mathis was like 34, made his first Pro Bowl. So we've seen some good Sua Peta, certainly. And this is a team that went like decades without good guard play. So it's been a pretty good run, and that's all Howie. But I still think they need a right guard for the long term. I don't think Tyler Steen's the long-term answer. I think he's been functional, serviceable. I think they need to be a little better there. We'll see what happens. Not this year, but in the future.
Flip the defense?
Yeah.
We'll start with defensive tackle. The question is Jalen Carter going to be Jalen Carter in the second half? Because if he is, as much as we talk about them improving on the edge, and they have, like, he's still the engine of this defense.
Yeah, and, you know, he's fighting a couple of things. I mean, there was the conditioning thing that Vic brought up, and there's been some injuries. Missed that first Giants game.
With the heel injury, but the shoulder is the one that seems to be lingering.
Yeah. So,
and I've asked him about, like, is this something you're going to get over this year? And his answer was basically, no, I'm just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. So that tells me maybe we won't see the player we saw last year. But I think he's still really good. He's just, I mean, last year he could have been a first team. I think he was a second team All-Pro. I don't think we'll see that level, but I think unless that thing heals, and we'll see. Maybe the bye week's going to really help him. I mean, and I like the way Jordan Davis is playing. Morrow's playing really, really well. I like what they have in there. But if he's like the guy we saw last year, then they're just going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, if he's that guy, and the good thing about him is that he has that reputation, and he's still gonna Sauce Gardner enough attention to get the double teams. I might run out of Gardners pretty soon.
Early Stanley Gardner was the Mysterio writer.
He's still going to get those double teams. He's still going to free those guys up. And I think it was encouraging to see how he played the last couple of games before the bye.
Yeah.
He played 90, what was it, 90, over, it was like 91%, or 90, it was 97% against the Vikings. And then it was down against the Giants. So that was because they took the starters out. That's encouraging, because if he's healthy enough and in shape enough to play 97%, that changes everything.
Yeah. A healthy Jalen Carter is going to Gardner Minshew double teams all the time.
Oh, you went first name. That's good.
Trying to flip it a little bit,
I like
change
that.
it up. Who was the safety they had named? What was that? They had a safety. Anyway, let's retire that.
At edge rusher.
Yeah.
How much will Jalen Phillips help?
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot. And Nolan Smith is back. BG's in the mix, but I think Jalen Phillips is the centerpiece of that group. I can't wait to see him play. And you wrote about Lane and Jordan Mailata talking about facing him. He gave Lane fits when they played. He's a really good rusher. It's just like so many of these guys that we talk about, whether it's Landon or Jalen Carter or Goddard, he's got to be healthy. So far, he has played all 9 games this year. Yeah. If they can get 8 healthy games out of him going into the postseason, he's going to make such a big difference.
Why not 9 games?
Well, he's not going to play the second Washington game. They're going to play the backups. But I mean, I would think we'll see Antoine Powell Ryland in that game. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the mix looks like with Jalix and Nolan, because I think they might want to be careful with Nolan.
Yeah, that's possible.
And so
the one interesting thing, and this is kind of a little footnote here, but most of Phillips' snaps this year, and really in the last like 2 or 3 years, have come on the left side of the defensive line, which is predominantly where Nolan plays. He, like, early in his career, Phillips played on the right quite a bit, but it's been, that was 2021.
Yeah.
Curious to see like his comfort level on both sides, Nolan's comfort level on both sides, because now you have 3 starting caliber edge rushers, and 2 guys are going to be out there to start the game, but I'm really fascinated to see what it looks like rotation wise.
And some guys are comfortable playing either side, and it's not a big deal.
And he's been productive inside.
Yeah.
He hasn't taken like a ton of snaps, which is in a way more encouraging, because he has all these pressures from the inside, even though he hasn't played there much. But I don't know how much of that role he's going to have here, because like, who are you taking off the field?
It was interesting that Howie didn't mention that when he was talking about his versatility. He didn't mention that ability to go inside.
He certainly has it.
It's in his back pocket.
Kind of like we saw Sweaty would sometimes go inside.
Yeah.
Play that 4-eye.
Yeah. What a year he's having.
Mm-hmm.
For the Cards. Yeah, I think it's going to really help. I mean, they're going to rotate guys anyway. Now you have 3, I think, really top-level edge rushers. People have been disappointed by Jalix. I think Jalix, the sack numbers aren't there. I think he's played well.
Yeah, I think he's played really well, especially the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, especially the last couple of weeks. And I think the sacks are going to come the way he's playing, the way he's pressuring.
Yeah, the pressures are there. He has 30. And for reference, like, we're excited about Jalen Phillips. He has 29. So Jalix actually has more pressures than Phillips this year. And he's played fewer snaps.
Yeah. But I'm curious to see how the snaps work out with these guys. I think they'll be even. I think there'll be games where Jalix might get the most. There'll be games where Jalen Phillips might get the most. I'm not sure there'll be games Nolan gets the most, but I think he'll get enough to make a difference. I think BG will probably get 10 or 12 maybe in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
So can't wait to see what those snap counts look like on Monday when you post them.
Yeah. It'll make snap counts a little more intriguing in the next few weeks.
I guarantee Monday morning snap counts is going to be edge rushers. Is going to be your lead.
Well, it might be the
Tuesday,
next one.
I should say Tuesday morning.
But it might be the next one because they have something to figure out at linebacker. That's the rotation. Right now they have basically 3 starting linebackers.
Yeah.
And you only play 2 at a time. They're not going to go to a 3 off-ball linebacker look. So how do they do that? We know Zach Bond's not leaving.
We don't say off-ball linebacker anymore.
Inside linebacker.
Thank you.
You're right. Sorry, I'll go with Vic's terminology. Same thing, different terminology, which is funny across the league that happens.
Yeah.
You're like, you remember Doug didn't use like numbers for personnel groupings.
That's right.
He didn't use 11 or 12. It was a zebra and what was 12? Whatever.
Drove Damo crazy.
Yeah, but at linebacker, we know Zach Bond's not leaving the field. He's been just incredible. We probably don't talk about him enough and just how good he's been. But after that, like, Jahad Campbell was playing at a really high level for the first 6 weeks. Then Nakobe Dean comes back on defense, and he's really given them something. I don't think it's a coincidence that their 2 best games in terms of run defense have been with Nakobe Dean on the field.
Vic seems to think it is.
Mm-hmm.
He said that. I think you were already at the airport. I don't know if you listened to his presser last Tuesday. He was asked about that.
They have Wi-Fi at the airport.
Yeah, I know, but you run around, you're checking bags. Well, you don't check bags. But anyway, somebody asked him about that, about Nakobe coming back the last 2 games and them being better on run defense. He said, "You're looking for a story that's not there," which I'm not buying it. I think he's a difference maker. I think Jahad, the edge snaps he got, I don't think he was particularly productive. There's no reason to do that anymore. So now you have a different dilemma.
Yeah. And it's funny because a few weeks ago I wrote that, all right, Jahad Campbell's not going to play on the edge the rest of the year. But that was, I mean, they basically just got 3 new edge rushers that are going to play.
Well, we knew Nolan was coming back eventually.
Well, yeah.
We didn't know.
That was the plan.
Yeah. I'm very curious. I think Nakobe's going to play more snaps than Jahad.
Yeah, you're probably right. And like the easy answer is Nakobe's good against the run. You play Nakobe on base downs, and then you play Jahad on nickel, but that wouldn't give Nakobe enough.
Right.
And then you're going, okay, well, now they're going to split nickel. How are they going to do it? Is it just going to be like series at a time? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to look like.
And the other part of Nakobe is he plays the mic, so obviously Bond's going to have the green dot because he's going to be on the field for every snap, but having Nakobe as the mic kind of frees up Bond to be that will linebacker, and I think that frees him up to just be a playmaker.
Yeah. And look, they've played some great football together, those two. And it's not a knock on Jahad at all because I like the way he's played. I think he's, he's around the ball. I just think their best 2 might be Nakobe and Zach. It makes it easier to figure it out because Zach's not coming off the field. So you start there, like, all right, and then everything else is just the other 2. But Jahad's gonna. I mean, he was playing really well.
You can't just
sit
him.
Yeah.
Because he gives them playmaker ability.
Yeah,
especially like in coverage. He's just tougher to throw on than Nakobe, just based on their size and length and range.
Nakobe's really good in coverage, though.
He is, but not as good as Jahad, honestly.
No.
Just based on the length. Like, the windows are tougher to find with a guy that long out there.
Yeah. I mean, Nakobe skied for that game-winning interception last year.
Yeah.
He went up and got it. So, yeah, I don't think it's a situation where you're like, one of them is so much better, like
If they were, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah. But I mean, so much better at one thing or another. Nakobe might be a little better against the run. I think ultimately,
he is.
Yeah, I think ultimately Jahad.
I think the instincts show up with Nakobe in the run.
He's played more.
Yeah.
He's played more football. Fun. I never dreamed when we were in the days of I don't want to. You
gonna bring up the names?
Yeah, but just the days of Jamar Chaney and Moses Foku and
these poor guys.
James Darling. I mean,
don't leave out Brian Roll.
This team went a long time.
Keenan Clayton.
Oh, that's not even fair. He was a late round pick.
He was a 5 out of Clemson.
Yeah. But I mean, look, if you're an Eagles fan, this team had linebacker issues for decades. And like there was Trot and there was like Willie T, and then there was just, it was a blind spot for Big Red.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
I wonder what the question could be. It's the question we've been asking since the spring.
Time immemorial.
And we don't have to spend a ton of time on it because I'm exhausted by it. But who's the CB2? We know the options, all right?
We know the options.
We'll go through them. It's Keely Ringo, Adoree Jackson, Jacorian Bennett, Jair Alexander, or the wild card is Cooper DeJean outside, Michael Carter as the nickel.
It's not the popular opinion, but I'm going to say Keely. Almost by default. Like, I just don't think you can put Adoree out there. I mean,
the thing, like, getting Jair Alexander, if he's just a smidge better than Adoree, I don't even know why you keep Adoree.
Yeah, no, that's true. I don't have a real good feeling about Jair Alexander. And look, hopefully it works out. It might work out. I've been wrong before. I just don't think he's the player he used to be. I don't think he's close. I would guess he won't even be on the roster at the end of the year. Just a hunch, but
I don't think they'll have both of those players by the end of the year.
I think that's fair. I think if he's 70% of the player he used to be, he's your starter. Even maybe 60%. I'm just not sure he's that player anymore.
I'm fascinated by Jacorian Bennett. I'm a little confused why they didn't bring him back before the bye week and just play him.
Yeah.
Keely played well before the bye in that final game, so maybe he gets another chance coming off the bye. It's fascinating because they have options and there's so many, but as Vic will tell you, they don't get a ton of practice time anymore, so it's going to be really tough to figure out who to play and who not to play.
Yeah, he'll stand up and say, yeah, it's not like it used to be where you practiced for a couple hours a day.
The one thing with Vic, though, is like if you're starting a game, that's one thing. The other guys better be ready because if he doesn't like it, he won't hesitate to pull a guy out of a game and try someone else.
And then put him back in when the other guy gets hurt.
Well, yeah.
The interesting thing to me, Vic really likes Keely. I mean, he even said he's going to keep getting opportunities here. I think he's just kind of drawn to his potential that we just haven't. We've seen it in little blips, but we just haven't seen that consistency. But
I think Jacorian Bennett might be the best option in terms of just a functional corner.
He might be
just a guy who isn't going to be a weak spot, is going to be a little physical, because Adoree's just obviously physicality's never been his game. But if he can't cover either, then like what are we doing?
Yeah.
Keely should be more physical, but he takes bad angles. He doesn't wrap up well. I think Jacorian Bennett might give them the highest
combination
baseline. Yeah.
Keely wants to be physical, but you have to be in the play to be physical. Jacorian Bennett might be the safest bet. I
think that's what they kind of should be just searching for, is just get a competent level of play at that position.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I like what I saw. We liked him in the summer. He's only played a couple dozen snaps in the regular season, I guess, in the first few games. He's missed 5 games now, right? He played the first 3. I just think he's pretty sticky. He's pretty physical. He seems to be a smart kid, and he was ready to play that last game. So I'm with you. I don't know why he didn't play, although Keely did play better. It'll be really interesting to see. And I asked Vic about Jacorian last time we talked to him, which was a week ago Tuesday, and he said, I just haven't seen enough of him to really have a sense of where he is. Well, that surprised me a little because he was here for camp.
Well,
most of camp.
Some of camp.
Yeah. And has played in preseason. I thought he played well in the preseason. I think he might be the safest bet. Keely might have a higher ceiling, but also a lower floor, much lower.
Yeah, that's fair.
Keely goes from like the 5th sub basement to like the 30th floor, where Bennett's like 1 sub basement to the 3rd floor or something.
I like that. At safety, can Andrew Makuba find more consistency? And I think it's reasonable to assume he will.
You hope so. You hope that the more he plays, and again, this is a young kid he's a young rookie. He's made mistakes. I mean, his tackling has been really uneven. It was interesting. I think Howie mentioned Michael Carter has some safety.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be like he's going to start, but it gives them options because
He
Epps
brought it
is
up.
now on IR.
Yeah, yeah, Marcus Epps on
And they only
IR.
have 3 safeties on the roster. It's the 2 starters and Sidney Brown. And it actually looked like Epps had passed Sidney Brown in the depth chart based
Yeah,
on they brought Epps on the field. So uh, having Carter's versatility, maybe they don't need to have another safety up.
yeah. It was interesting that Howie brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something clearly he's thinking about. But I like Makuba's. Like you just see big plays that help both teams.
Yeah. And I think if he finds more consistency, it might actually help Reed Blankenship. That's my theory on it because I think Reed's had like a whatever kind of season.
Yeah.
And Vic was asked about Reed in that last press conference, and he brought up the fact that he's playing next to a rookie. I found that interesting. I wonder if they're explaining away Reed's season by, well, he's got a lot on his plate because there's a rookie next to him.
Maybe, but they're also he doesn't have a contract, which also might tell you what they think of his play. I don't know. Maybe
I think that might be more about the valuation.
Well, that's all kind of baked into it, right? I mean,
Well, his valuation, I mean, of himself.
yeah, but their valuation of him is part of that equation too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little surprising because I didn't think it would take much to sign him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see what happens there.
That was it. Did I miss any big questions?
I think you addressed every single big question facing this team.
I'm glad I did so.
Well, I guess the other one is Patullo. Like we've seen growth from him.
Mm-hmm.
That's been really encouraging. Will that continue? I kind of think yes.
Fascinated to see what the offense looks like coming off the bye.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I saw some good things.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back, talk about Eagles, Packers, and then answer a few questions.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today.
Back on the Eagle Eye Podcast, brought to you by Nissan. Reuben, Frank, and Dave Zangaro. Rube, let's start with these matchups. Eagles are 2.5-point underdogs going to Green Bay. Monday Night Football. Going to be a cold one, by the way. Real field temps in the teens. For
Really?
That. Yeah. Gets cold in a hurry in Green Bay. It's
bundled.
actually nice there right now. It's like in the 50s. I checked that weather app. It's looking cold. Highs in the 30s, lows in the 20s with real feel in the teens.
Eagles football weather.
We'll see about that. The first matchup, Eagles are on offense. Their tackles against the Packers edge rushers. Obviously, Micah Parsons, the star of the show.
And Rashawn Gary, who
Been
actually
really
leads
good.
them in sacks, I believe.
Sure, he does, but
Yeah, Parsons is the guy. And this is kind of like the centerpiece of this game is those two edges versus these two tackles. And I think that's going to go a long way to kind of deciding this thing.
yeah, one of those good-on-good matchups.
Yeah. And I think, I guess Parsons lines up. I mean, they both line up on both sides, but Parsons will be mainly on Jordan.
More often, he's on the defensive right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you face these guys, you're happy to, it's funny because when they traded him, you're like, oh, you don't have to, well, you still have to face him. Just not twice a year. But you like where both tackles are. They're both healthy. Lane's healthy now. I think Lane's played great. I think Jordan's played really well.
Yeah, they're both real. I mean, this is good on good. It is going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah.
The next one is Saquon, and I have the Packers linebackers, but really that run defense. Really good play from Edgerrin Cooper over there. I like Quay Walker quite a bit too. It's fascinating to see if Saquon can keep up the momentum from before the bye.
Yeah, and look, the Packers playing the Packers at Lambeau is a little different than playing the Giants at the Lake. So I wouldn't expect $150. But I think they did discover something with the run game, and I would expect him to be effective. 20 for 82 type of game. Of course, that only leaves me 8 games to get to 600 yards. So maybe he goes over in overtime or something. But like we said earlier, I think he's going to have a good second half, and I think he'll be effective against the Packers.
The Packers, for the most part, have been really good a good run defense all year. They're 5th total, but they got gashed by Rico Dowdle.
He's good.
He is good. You got a fine for a celebration. You see that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
He double pumped. He can't double pump, apparently.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But
you can't really do much of anything.
You can't. Dowdle had 25 carries, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that game. So maybe there's a little bit of a crack to sneak through if you're Saquon.
And Tank Bigsby.
And Tank. We can't forget Tank.
RB1 and RB1A.
Jalen Hurts against Xavier McKinney. McKinney is one of 2 players in the NFL to get Jalen 3 times in his career.
All with the Giants?
No. Last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Who's the other one?
The other is Trayvon Diggs.
Okay.
Who obviously sees him more.
Yeah.
Well, I guess McKinney used to.
He does now. I still don't understand why the Giants got rid of him, but yeah, that's an interesting one. And you had an interesting note out of Jalen's 40 career interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
How many are by safeties?
13.
13, which seems like a good percentage.
Yeah. And, there are some miscellaneous ones in there. Like, you have to remember, there's some linebacker interceptions, like a tip ball to a defensive lineman. Good safeties traditionally have been able to get him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And he's a good one. I mean, he's really good. So got to be aware of him all the time. Jalen knows that. And Jalen's going to keep being aggressive. He's going to keep firing away. And he's just been so good. He's just been so accurate. I mean, the combination of his high completion percentage was close to 71% and 1 interception in like 220 pass attempts. It's a really, and thrown for over 7 yards per completion. That's a really impressive set of analytics that tells you he's getting the ball down the field, mainly the last month, and also being careful with the ball.
Sure. The last one for the Eagles offense is their red zone offense against the Packers' red zone defense. We talked earlier about how good the Eagles have been inside the 20. The Packers' defense has not been good in those situations. They are 23rd in the NFL. They've given up touchdowns on 14 of 22 occasions.
Yeah, so if you get down there, you like their chances. You just got to get down there.
And in a game where it could be close, 2.5-point spread right now, 4 points is a big deal.
Yeah, when Dave says 4 points, he means the difference between a field goal and a touchdown, an extra point. Yeah, and I think I'd be shocked if it's not a close game. I'd be really surprised. Mm-hmm. I think they're 2 really good teams. It's a tough place to play. It is something out there. I mean, it's like there's nothing like Lambeau.
It's a cool place.
Yeah, I love how you're just like driving down the street and there's like a Jersey Mike's, there's a laundromat, there's like a bank, and then there's Lambeau Field. It's like just in the middle of this neighborhood. It's crazy. So if you haven't been out there, make a trip out there one day.
Yeah. Eagles secondary against Jordan Love without Tucker Kraft, at least.
Big loss.
Maybe without Matthew Golden. Tucker Kraft was maybe the best tight end in the NFL before that injury.
Yeah, it's a shame. He was playing great.
Yeah, their leading receiver, 489 yards and 6 touchdowns this year.
I don't love Jordan Love. I think he might be. I think he might be the weak link on that team, and I don't think he's bad.
I think he's good. I think it's fair to say he never took the step that many people expected him to take.
Yeah.
Into that elite category.
That's a good way to put it. Boy, you'd like to see these corners get a couple interceptions. It's been now 26 consecutive games without an Eagles cornerback getting an interception.
And that's the point here is that the Packers do not turn the football over very much. They are second in the NFL in giveaways.
Behind?
The Eagles.
Yeah. Eagles only have 3?
Only 3. The Packers have 5.
Yeah. And one of those 3 is a A.J. Dillon fumble at the end of a game. But it counts. And what was the other one? And one was the Jalen interception.
Mm-hmm.
What was the third turnover? Jalen had a fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a crazy stat, though. So there's not going to be a lot of turnovers in this game, but, boy, you'd like to see those corners get some interceptions.
Yeah, and if you remember, they got Jordan Love 3 times.
That's right.
In that wild card game. Zach Bond, Quinyon Mitchell, and Darius Slay got him in the wild card round. That was nice. That was a fun little throwback for us there.
Yeah. We don't get too many opportunities.
Josh Jacobs, well, kind of like Saquon, his numbers are down this year, but he's still a really dangerous player.
He is. He's down to 3.8, I believe. I think he's a really good back, but again, it's so hard for running backs to have back-to-back big seasons. And his average is lower than Saquon's. So
it was higher.
It was. Yeah.
Saquon took care of that in week 8.
I'm curious to see where this run defense goes now that presumably Jalen Carter's healthier. N'Kobe's on the field now. Got some new guys in there. Nolan plays the run.
Really well.
He plays the run when he's out there. Because that was a real liability early in the year. They were just getting
Phillips does too.
He does, yeah. He's a
6'6", 265.
big guy, yeah. It's funny because when I started, that used to be a small defensive end. Now it's like a big edge rusher. But I think they're going to be better against the run, and this is a good test. Jacobs is still dangerous.
And the last one I have is the Packers. I don't know who their left guard is going to be in this game. We're doing this kind of early in the week because of the Monday night game, but that could be an issue because Aaron Banks left the last game with a stinger. So if he's not in there, they're going to struggle at left guard. Their tackle play is good. Overall, it's a good line, but there might be a weakness at left guard to exploit.
Yeah, and something to keep an eye on Monday.
That's all. You have a feeling on this game yet?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I'm leaning Eagles. I think the Eagles the Packers don't have a lot of good wins. They beat Detroit in the opener. I thought the Pittsburgh win, which was in Pittsburgh, was good. Their other wins are, I think, Washington, the Bengals, and the Cards. I think the Eagles have more good wins. Wins over winning teams. I think they tied Dallas. They lose to the Browns. I think they're good, and they're very good in that stadium. This is a game I think the Eagles are very good on the road against good teams. Like they're just like the games that other teams lose, they tend to win. I think that's something to keep. I'm going to look that up. I think the Eagles find a way. Yeah. And I think these next two games, like if they go 2-0, I mean, it's not going to guarantee anything, but man, if they go 2-0 in these next two, which I think is possible, and 0-2 is possible, but I think 2-0 is possible, they could really see their way to the 1 seed because they're going to have some serious tiebreaker action. Obviously, you're going to have a couple good wins. They would be sitting at 8-2 with 7 left and a couple pretty winnable looking games, which they don't have a lot of this year. Those 2 late Washington games now are looking like you have a couple dubs there without their quarterback. But I'm leaning Eagles. How about you?
Yeah, I'm leaning Eagles. It's weird when you're picking these games because they just don't lose very often. You're trying to find where can I pick them to lose, and I just think they're a better team. I like them coming off a bye. I think not only are they good coming off the bye, not only have they found answers in previous years coming off the bye, but they were a team that needed to get healthy in a few key spots, and I think the bye probably gave them that opportunity. Not easy playing there, but I think I'm going to pick the Eagles.
Yeah.
Time for questions?
Barrett told me he's picking the Eagles this week.
Eagle-eyed NBCUni.com QR code is on the screen. First one today is from Matt.
Matt?
Really appreciate the pod, guys. Keeps me feeling grounded in Eagles and Philly culture in general while living here in Madison, Wisconsin.
Ooh, interesting.
First time emailing and had what I think might be a fun question.
What if he's going to the game?
I don't know. Seeing the Jets go fire sale mode and the debate over the value of their players got me wondering what would happen if the Eagles had a similar fire sale. Obviously, we're a contender and this would never happen, but in a bizarro universe where we wanted to strip this whole team for parts and start over through the draft, how many guys do you think would command one or more first rounders, and who would command the most value?
Well, it's kind of funny because that's what they did this offseason, coming off a Super Bowl championship. They stripped the roster and built through draft picks.
Yeah. And the second part of this is also, who do you think is a guy the Eagles value very highly, but the rest of the league wouldn't offer nearly as much in a trade package as Eagles fans think he's worth? Devontae Smith comes to mind for me.
think Devontae's value is fairly high.
Yeah.
I think maybe Goddard would be a guy that fits that category.
Yeah. In terms of like highest trade value on the team, who comes to mind? And trade value isn't just indicative of a player's play. Other factors come into play, like
His health, his youth.
His health, his youth, contract status. Certainly, you got a guy. So, like, to me, a guy like Jalen Carter, still in that rookie deal, would be really valuable.
He'd bring you the most. I think he'd bring you the biggest return. Just because, I mean, you're going to have to sign him to $35 million a year or something. But yeah, I would think, and he's young and he's still getting better.
Yeah, AJ obviously would bring about a lot. Everyone knows how good he is.
I think Mulata. I mean, at Lane's age, he's not going to.
Yeah.
You know.
I think Jalix might be a guy that the Eagles would value higher than other teams.
Could be. I think Jalen Phillips might get you 3.
If they traded for him and then traded him right away.
How he's done that.
He has done that. He did that. Remember the player?
Man, I know you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Amadi?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Good pull. Hugo Amadi. Yeah.
Hugo Amadi. How did I remember that?
Yeah. That was good. Good pull.
I have no idea where that came from.
Next one from Michael. Hey, guys. Been thinking about the trade deadline. Am I the only one who thinks the NFL's deadline is way too early compared to other leagues? My theory, they should push it back a few weeks. If the deadline was later, more GMs would be forced to be realistic about their team being out of the playoff mix. That would encourage a lot more sellers to flip players for picks, which would probably result in a way more substantial trade. Right now, it feels like the deadline is over before teams even have declared their season. Interested to hear your thoughts. Thanks for all the great content.
Well, I just think they want the deadline before teams have given up on the season. I don't know.
Why would they want that, though?
Because, I don't know.
I agree with his premise that if it was later, a team who's like right now on the edge, and, when they expanded the playoff field, I think there are more teams,
no doubt,
who think they have a chance that in a couple of weeks might realize, although maybe the Cowboys would still make trades. They're 3-5-1 and making trades. So well, I think it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I don't know the answer.
Yeah, like why not? Why not push it back a few weeks?
Okay.
Like I don't understand why it's implemented the way it is.
Well, you can bring that up with the competition committee or whoever. I don't know who it would be.
Rich McKay will just be happy I'm not asking about second helmet rule anymore. From Rob. My question is regarding A.J. Brown's future with the Birds. I know that his passive-aggressive tweets have been a distraction, but I find it hard to believe that Howie would entertain the thought of trading such an elite receiver. We don't need more draft picks, and it's unlikely we would get a player or players as talented as A.J. back in a trade. I just can't imagine that whatever issues exist between A.J. and Jalen can't be worked out because the team is so much better than him than without him. I hope they find a way to make it work and keep him on the team. Update. They did, at least for now. Do you think it's likely AJ will be traded during the offseason? And if so, what do you think the Eagles would get back in a potential trade?
Yeah, I don't know what to think. I go back and forth on this. I think he'll be here because I think Nick is really good at kind of figuring these things out. And Howie, too. I mean, AJ goes somewhere else. He might get more targets and more catches, but where's he going to go where he's going to have a chance to be a champion every year and play whatever his feeling. I don't think he and Jalen hate each other. There's something there, but where's he going to have a quarterback that good? I just don't know if it makes sense for him. I don't know if that's even what he really wants. I don't know if he knows what he wants. I just think he'll be here. I think it's more likely than not he'll be here.
You're probably right. What do you think it would cost, though? Because, look, I think a team like the Patriots is going to keep calling and keep upping their offer and keep upping their offer.
Brady and a couple ones.
No. We haven't talked about the biggest story of the week, that Tom Brady
I don't want to talk
cloned
about
his
Tom
dog.
Dog.
That's insane.
Yeah, well.
That's like supervillain stuff.
Yeah. He's different.
The biggest story of the week. The trade deadline.
Where do you go? Like where do you go to get a dog cloned?
The dog cloning plant.
It's a plant. Like I remember the Star Trek episode when they cloned like Captain Kirk and he put him on this thing and starts spinning super fast. And next thing you know, there's two Captain Kirks and they're fighting each other. And Spock doesn't know which one is the real one.
I love that your references.
And one of them goes, you know, hey, I'm the real Kirk. He's the fake. And then the real one says, your only choice, Mr. Spock, is to kill both of us. And that's when Spock knows the one who said that is the real Kirk, and he kills the other one.
Just ruined it for me.
The drama.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
I was going to watch it tonight.
We'll have to put no spoilers coming.
Spoilers for 30-year-old, 40-year-old,
or 40. Yeah, it was probably early 70s.
Oh, jeez.
I don't even know. Anyway, it was like Pete Retzlaff watched that show.
He probably did.
I'll have to look into that. What was the question? What could they get for AJ?
Yeah.
AJ's what, 28?
Mm-hmm.
A 1?
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Next
and you get and flip a 6 and a 7 because they always do that.
From Cole, how hard is it for a guy to switch from tackle to guard? I feel like when we had those early struggles at guard and Toth seemed to be struggling, Big Fred could have done an equal or better job. I just have no idea how difficult that change in position is. Thanks for everything you boys do, the best in the business.
Thank you. Some guys, it's easy. Some guys, it's hard. Some of these guys have played both in college, and obviously Howie has a preference for guys that are positionally versatile.
Yeah, I think Big Fred did some guard early in his career, and it wasn't great.
It didn't go well with Cincinnati, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember we asked him, like, what went wrong in Cincinnati? He goes, they played me at guard. Some guys just aren't guards. Yeah. Some guys can do it.
And some guys have to do it later in their careers when they lose the speed to be able to play outside.
Yeah. Matt Pryor can do it, in theory. Hasn't done it well here. But yeah, some guys just you need a certain build to be able to do both.
I mean, Barrett did it.
He
talks about that switch and how it kind of extended his career, being able to play inside.
Yeah.
Like if you're not a star player, you need to be able to.
The original plan was that he was going to play guard as a rookie here, and then Bernard Williams got suspended and just released last year, and Barrett had to move out and play tackle as a rookie, opening day tackle. I believe his first career game was for Who for What.
Is that right?
I think it was.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was actually Barrett who said it. It wasn't Ricky. But yeah, it's a weird deal. It's some guys can't play left guard, but they can play right guard. Some guys just don't care to play either one. But I mean, the more you can do, the more value you have.
Totally agree.
Especially Howie just wants guys who can do more than one thing.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up there. If you have a question for us, eagleeye@NBCUni.com. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the like button and subscribe there as well. Just before we started recording this pod, we learned that the Cowboys defensive end, Marshawn Nealon, died overnight. Really sad news out of Dallas. So our thoughts with the Cowboys, with his family, truly tragic news.
Yeah, young kid, second year. Just horrible to hear.
It is. For Reuben Frank, I'm Dave Zangaro. This has been Eagle Eye, presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.